Sure, here's part one expanded to around 1,000 words, written in simple English, with an engaging and interesting flow, and free from any violated content or language, as you requested. Aaron lived in a small old village that rested at the edge of the hills. The place was simple, filled with hard-working people and surrounded by green fields and tall trees. The people of the village followed their old traditions, and most decisions were made by families, not by individuals. From childhood, Aaron had always admired Lena, a girl with sharp eyes, quick words, and a spirit that seemed unbreakable. Their homes stood just a short walk apart, and their families knew each other well. Everyone in the village expected that Aaron and Lena would one day get married, just as their parents had always hoped. But Lena was not like the other girls in the village. She spoke her mind and liked to make her own choices. When her father spoke of arranging her marriage, Lena would often fold her arms and look away. She did not want her life decided for her. Aaron understood this about her, but he still hoped she would say yes to him, not because someone told her to, but because she wanted to. As they grew older, the idea of marriage became a common topic between their families. Aaron's mother would sometimes bake sweet bread and bring it over to Lena's home, always hinting at how wonderful it would be if the two young people were joined. Lena would smile politely, but Aaron could see that her mind was elsewhere. Sometimes she would walk alone by the river, skipping stones and thinking quietly to herself. One day, Aaron gathered his courage and decided to talk to Lena openly. He waited for her near the big oak tree at the edge of the village, a place they used to play as children. When Lena saw him, she knew what he wanted to say. Aaron told her that he cared for her and that he hoped they could build a life together, but only if she truly wanted it. He promised that he would never force her into anything she didn't choose for herself. Lena listened, her face calm but her eyes serious. She told Aaron that she respected him and valued his kindness, but she did not want to get married. At least, not right now, and not because it was what everyone expected. She wanted to see the world, maybe travel to the town beyond the hills, or learn new things before thinking of marriage. Aaron nodded, trying to hide his disappointment. He thanked her for being honest and watched her walk away, the sun setting behind her. News spread quickly in a small village. Soon, everyone knew that Lena had refused to be Aaron's bride. Old women whispered about it while drawing water from the well. Some people said Lena was too proud, while others thought she was brave for speaking her mind. Aaron's friends tried to cheer him up, but he felt the sting of rejection deeply. His father told him to give it time, that maybe Lena would change her mind. Meanwhile, Lena's parents grew worried. They did not understand her need for freedom. Her mother asked her gently why she would not accept Aaron, saying he was a good and honest man. Lena explained that she wanted to choose her own path, not just follow the one set by others. Still, her parents arranged for her to meet a new suitor, a man named Elliot who came from a town across the river. Elliot was tall and carried himself with confidence, but there was something cold about his smile. He was well off, and Lena's father saw the match as a step up for the family. When Aaron heard about the new suitor, he felt a heavy ache in his chest. He wondered if he should give up hope. Some nights he would sit outside, staring at the moon and thinking about the days when he and Lena ran through the fields together, laughing and free. He remembered her stubbornness, her courage, and the way she always spoke honestly, even when it made things harder. One afternoon, the whole village gathered in the main square for the spring festival. There were bright ribbons, music, and the smell of food everywhere. Children played games, and the elders told old stories. Lena arrived with her family, and Elliot walked beside her. Aaron watched from a distance, feeling out of place among the happy crowd. He saw Lena smile, but he noticed it did not reach her eyes. During the festival, Aaron found himself standing near the food stalls when he overheard Elliot talking to his friends. Elliot was laughing, saying things about how easy it would be to win over Lena's family with gifts and promises. Aaron felt a sharp anger rise inside him. He wanted to defend Lena, but he knew she was strong and could take care of herself. Still, the night ended with a feeling of worry in the air. Aaron and Lena's story was becoming something everyone talked about. Some people said they were both too stubborn. Others believed that the old ways needed to change, and maybe this was the start of something new. As the festival ended and families walked home under the stars, Aaron realized that his life was changing. Lena had refused to be his bride, and the path ahead was uncertain. But deep inside, he knew he could not stop caring for her, no matter what others said or did. The next days were filled with a quiet tension. Aaron went back to work in the fields, trying to focus on his chores. Lena spent more time alone, thinking and dreaming of a life she could call her own. Neither knew what the future would bring, but both felt the weight of their choices pressing down on them, shaping everything that would happen next. Aaron tried to keep himself busy. He worked in the fields from dawn to late afternoon. He fixed fences, carried water, and helped the older men with heavy loads. Still, his mind kept going back to Lena. He watched her from a distance when he could, but he never spoke to her again after that day under the oak tree. He did not want to pressure her, but he also could not stop caring. Lena's life grew more complicated. Elliot stayed close. He brought gifts in shiny boxes, and he talked with her parents in quiet, serious tones. The village began to call him the better match. Some said he had more money. Some said his family had better connections. Elliot was polite in front of others, but Lena saw things behind his calm face. He would pause when she spoke, then smile like he already knew what she would say. He would ask her questions that seemed kind, but they were full of meaning, questions about her wishes, wrapped in quiet pressure. Lena kept refusing. She still wanted freedom. She still wanted to learn. Elliot's comments grew sharper. He would say things like, "You will thank your family later," or "A life with me will be safe." He did not understand that safety meant nothing if it felt like a cage. Lena felt her hope slipping, not for Aaron, but for herself. She was tired of always hiding her real thoughts. She began to speak less to her parents. Their whispers grew louder. One morning, Aaron heard that Elliot planned a private talk with Lena's father by the river. The river was quiet and slow, a place where villagers went to think. Aaron decided to go there, not to spy, but because he had always liked the sound of water. He saw Elliot and Lena's father standing with their backs turned, their faces low in serious talk. Elliot's voice was calm, but Aaron could hear the weight in it. "If she continues like this," Elliot said, "her family will lose respect. People will think they cannot guide their own daughter. She needs to accept the offer. I can make things right for them. My people will help the business and she will have a good home." Lena's father answered slowly, "She is strong. She wants her own path. We did not raise her to follow without question." "Then you will lose time," Elliot said. "Time is something others will not wait for. She will make choices that bring shame if left alone." He paused, looking past the river. "I can be patient, but the longer this goes, the more others will judge you. You need to decide." Aaron felt a cold weight in his chest. He knew this was more than a simple meeting. Elliot was trying to push her family by using the fear of others. The old rules of the village were like rivers, silent but strong. If Aaron did not act soon, Lena might be forced not by open threat, but by slow pressure. He wanted to step forward and say something, anything, but he stayed back. He did not want to cause a new fight. He watched them leave, Elliot's arm, resting lightly on Lena's father's shoulder like a friend guiding the way. The next days, Elliot increased his presence. He attended village gatherings, always keeping Lena in view. He praised her father in public. He offered help to her mother. He began taking small steps to control the story in the village. Aaron heard people talk. Some told him that Lena's family might accept soon. Others said that Lena was too stubborn, and that she would regret this. Aaron's friends tried to cheer him, but he could not find comfort. Lena felt the pressure more. She went to the market with her younger sister. People stared, and some spoke behind their hands. The new talk was, "Not kind." "Why does she still refuse?" they asked. "Elliot is good for her. He will bring honor." Lena kept her face quiet, but inside she burned. She walked home with her sister in silence and closed her door. That night she sat by the small window watching the moon. She thought of Aaron. She thought of his gentle words and the way he had promised not to push. She also thought of Elliot's calm voice and the way he talked to her father like a man guiding a ship. She did not want to hurt anyone. She wanted to decide for herself, but she felt the path becoming smaller, like the light in a narrowing tunnel. One evening, the village held a small meeting about the new harvest plan. People gathered in the main hall, and the talk turned to how the older rules would help keep peace. Elliot was there, standing with a confident look. Lena came in late, her face pale. When she sat, she kept her eyes on the floor. Elliot moved beside her and offered a soft smile. His hands did not touch her, but the way he watched her made her feel seen and measured. Aaron was outside, talking to a farmer about the new seed order. He heard loud voices from the hall, a sound of raised talk, and then a sharp tone he did not like. He went in quietly, and the moment he entered, he saw Elliot speaking with some men near the front. Elliot had a small group, and they were talking with energy. Aaron listened without moving. "You see," Elliot was saying, "a girl who refuses the right path will bring trouble. Her family will look weak. We can show them how to correct that. They will thank us later. Some people need strong hands to guide them." One of the men laughed. "You are right. Stubbornness like that will ruin the family if left alone." Elliot looked toward the back where Lena sat. He lowered, his voice so only a few could hear. "Some people hide behind pride. Others need a reminder of what they owe. If she keeps this up, we will have to push harder. The next time, perhaps she will understand with more force." Aaron felt the words cut deep. He saw Lena's head lift slightly, her eyes glancing toward Elliot. She did not look shocked. She looked tired. Aaron wanted to speak, to stand between them. But he remembered his promise to himself to respect her choice. He was not sure if she wanted him to act. The talk moved on, and the meeting ended. People left with small smiles, but Aaron saw the worry in their eyes. Elliot walked past Lena, his shoulder brushing hers lightly. She did not move, but her hand tightened around her basket. After the meeting, Aaron found a moment to walk near the river again. He saw Lena sitting on a low stone, her face turned toward the water. He approached slowly, not wanting to surprise her. "You do not have to speak if you do not want," he said quietly, standing a short distance away. Lena looked at him. Her eyes held pain, but also a strange calm. "I know," she said. "You still come. I respect that." "I wish I could make it easier," Aaron said. "I hate that he uses the rules to push you. You do not belong to anyone but yourself." Lena gave a small smile. "I do not want pity. I want a decision that is mine. He is smart. He knows how to make the world see him as help. When he talks, others listen. That makes my choice harder." "Then I will stay quiet if you ask," Aaron said. "But if the time comes when you need someone to stand with you, I will be there, not to pull you, but to hold the path open." She studied his face. "You always say things that do not push. That is why I remember you. But I am tired of the watching. If I choose, it will be because I want to, not because I fear what others say." They sat in silence, listening to the water. The sun was low, making the river shine like a thin line of fire. Aaron felt the pull in his chest, the wish to help, and the fear of making things worse. Lena looked at the moving water, thinking of time and choice. That night, Elliot met with Lena's mother. The talk was quiet, polite, and full of praise for the family. He did not mention force, but he offered help again and again in small gifts and future promises. Lena's mother looked tired, her eyes falling to the floor before she nodded. Behind her closed door, the family's old rules shifted like sand. The village kept talking. The fight was not open yet. The pressure built slowly, like wind before a storm. Aaron watched from the edges, waiting to see if Lena would call or if the path would narrow too much. Lena felt the pull from all sides. She kept her decision close, like a small seed hidden in her palm, waiting to grow into something that would be truly hers. Ask ChatGPT. The days after the meeting felt heavier. Lena's quiet held a deeper weight, and Aaron saw the change in her walk. She was careful, like she moved on glass. Elliot's presence grew in small ways. He came to the market with gifts wrapped in neat cloth, and he offered help with small repairs at Lena's home. The village watched everything. The story of Lena's choice and the quiet pressure around her became louder in whispers, but no one spoke it directly to her face. One night, just after a rain, the wind carried a strange sound. The village was calm, and most people had gone to sleep. Aaron was returning from the fields, carrying a basket of fresh vegetables for his mother. He noticed smoke far off near the edge of the village, where some of the smaller homes stood. He ran toward it, heart beating hard. The bandits came in waves. They were rough men from the hills, people who stole for money and control. They moved fast, breaking doors, throwing people into the street, and taking what they wanted. Someone screamed. A child cried. A lantern fell and light jumped across wet stones. Aaron heard yelling from Lena's street. He did not think. He ran. He saw two bandits near Lena's home, and one of them had forced open the door. Lena's younger brother stood frozen by the side, his eyes wide and face pale. Lena was inside, trying to pull her mother away from a man who pushed for money. Then a sharp shout came from behind. One of the bandits had seen a man running, and he turned. Aaron stepped forward with only a small kitchen knife he had carried for cutting rope. The bigger of the bandits laughed when he saw Aaron. "What will you do, boy?" the man said, raising a heavy club. Aaron did not answer. He moved fast. He swung with the knife, aiming to distract. The bandit shouted and turned, hitting a broken crate. The smaller bandit tried to go after Lena's mother, but Aaron stepped between them. Aaron's blade pressed near the bandit's side. The man shoved Aaron back with his strong arm, but Aaron stayed close. The fight was messy, loud, and full of fear. Inside the house, Lena saw the chaos. The bandit who wanted money was pushing her mother toward the table. Her brother was trying to hide behind a chair. She felt frozen, like the air would not let her move. Then she saw Aaron. He was in the doorway, breathing hard, blood on his hands from a cut on his forehead, but he stood like a wall. A bandit behind Aaron tried to swing the club, but Aaron ducked and pushed the man's arm aside. He moved forward, and in the heat of the moment, his knife ended up near Lena's throat as he stepped to protect her from a man who tried to grab her. She felt the cold edge on her skin. Fear came quick, but Aaron's eyes were wide, filled with force and care. He whispered sharply, "Stay still! Don't move!" His voice was low, not mean. It cut through the noise. Lena could see the bandit behind him. The man was about to pull a small blade from his belt and go for Lena's brother. Aaron used his body to block, and his blade stayed near Lena's throat while he turned his head to push the other bandit away with his shoulder. In that second, Lena felt something change inside her. The close breath of danger and the weight of Aaron standing in front to take it all made her feel both afraid and strangely safe. The fight moved fast. Aaron's body shook from the hits, but he did not let the bandits take more ground. One of the villagers, hearing the noise, came with a lantern and a wooden pole. He hit one bandit behind Aaron, making the man fall. Another neighbor ran with a stick and shouted. The bandits looked around. anger and surprise mixing on their faces. They saw more people coming. The leader barked orders, and the group pulled back, throwing threats as they ran into the night. The village dogs barked, and the sound echoed. When the danger passed, Lena's mother held her younger son close, tears falling. Lena's father, who had been away in a neighbor's field, came running, breath heavy. He saw Aaron holding the doorframe, his shirt torn, knife-stained, and his face tired but calm. "You risked your life," Lena's father said, voice low with shock and a new kind of respect. "You could have run." Aaron only nodded, looking at the mess around. He turned to Lena. His blade was still near her throat for a second longer, then he stepped back, lowering it slowly. "I did not mean to scare you," he said, breathing hard. "I only wanted to keep you safe." Lena's hand shook. She held her mother's arm tight. Her heart pounded. She saw the fear in her brother's eyes, and she saw Aaron's blood from a cut on his lip dried dark. She swallowed, her body cooling from the rush of adrenaline. "You saved us," she said quietly. Her voice did not sound soft. It had a new edge, one that mixed the break of fear with a strange gratitude. The villagers helped. They set small fires to dry clothes, cleaned wounds with water, and covered broken windows with cloth. Some men went to chase the bandits deeper into the dark, but they did not find them. The night was loud for a while, with people talking about what happened and checking each other's homes. Later, when the sun rose, the damage was clear: broken doors, scattered items, and tired faces. The bandits' threats were written in their eyes, the broken wood and the fear in the eyes of children. Lena's father sat down outside, rubbing his hand over his face. He looked at Aaron, then at his daughter. "We were wrong to push too hard," he said quietly, not fully speaking the truth, but letting a chance open. "We forgot how to see the people around us." Lena watched her father. She did not answer. Her mind turned over what had happened. She remembered the cold of the blade on her skin and the weight of Aaron's breath beside her face. She remembered his eyes, clear, strong, and full of a promise that went beyond words. She thought of the men who whispered in the hall and of Elliot's soft push. She saw that the world around her was not simple. She felt the lines of choice moving. The village began to change its tone about Aaron. The old women who once whispered that Lena was too proud now said he had courage. The younger boys told the story of how Aaron stood against the bandits even with only a small knife. Some said that he had saved the whole family, not with money or with words, but with action. Lena heard how people spoke of Aaron, but the memory stayed like a quiet current inside her, stronger than the talking. Aaron did not want praise. He went to Lena's home the next morning with simple bread and fresh fruit. He did not speak of hero or thanks. He only asked if they needed more help. Lena's mother accepted the bread with a soft nod. Lena watched from the doorway, her face calm and her eyes deep. Later, when the village had settled, Lena approached Aaron by the river. The light was soft there, and the water moved like it had something to carry away. She stood a small distance from him. "You did not have to risk so much," she said, voice quiet. "I did not think," Aaron answered. "I only saw danger and came. I do not want you to feel like you owe me anything." "I do not owe," she said. "But I see now how different things are when someone chooses to stand in front. You used the blade not to hurt, but to keep others back. That moment, it was close. I was afraid. Then I understood it was not for me to feel trapped. It was for me to see how far someone would go." They sat a while, watching the slow water. Silence was not empty. It held weight and new meaning. Lena's mind was not clear yet. She still felt pressure around her, and she still had to decide. But the night before had shifted something inside. She had seen a part of Aaron that was quiet and strong. She felt the line between fear and trust become something hard to name. Aaron did not push. He only said, "I will be here if you want. If you choose, not because you feel you have to, but because it is your own choice. Lena looked at the river and then at him. I do not know what will happen next, she said. But I will think. I will not let others make the shape of my life for me. That is all I can promise now. They left the river in different directions. The village was waking, birds beginning their song. The attack had passed, but its marks would stay. Lena carried a new thought with her, one that would grow. Aaron carried a hope that his care would not push her and that she would choose on, her own. The path ahead had changed. The quiet tension was still there, but now it had a new layer, one born from risk, from truth, and from the moment when the blade touched her throat, not as harm, but as protection. After the bandit attack, the village did not forget what had happened. People walked with a new look when they passed Lena's home. Some came to help with small repairs, others brought food. The fear from the night stayed, but a quiet new respect grew around Aaron. He kept working as before, doing his tasks and helping others. He did not act like a hero. He simply showed up when anyone needed him. Lena felt the change too. The memory of the blade near her throat stayed in her mind, but it no longer felt sharp. It felt like a line drawn to mark where someone had stood for her. She kept thinking about it, about how close the danger had been, and how Aaron had placed himself between the threat and her. She watched him from the fields, the way he moved, with a calm focus, the way he gave small space when she needed it. She had not expected to feel safe after that night, but she did. The feeling confused her. She had spent so long pushing people away because she wanted control. Now she wanted to understand why she felt something else when she saw him. Elliot noticed the change in talk around the village. He came less often to Lena's house in public, but when he did, he made sure others still saw him with her father. He sent small gifts again, but the old strength behind his words had slipped. The same men who once praised him now spoke quieter when he entered the market. Some of them looked at Aaron with nods, and Elliot saw those looks. He did not like them. He began to try different ways. He praised Lena's mother openly. He told stories of great futures. He even offered to host a small feast to praise her family and show how his connection would bring honor. Lena's father held the feast, but he did not invite the village like before. He kept the group small. Elliot sat at the long table smiling, softly and speaking in ways meant to sound kind. Lena watched him from the side, her face quiet. He moved like he expected her to reply, to give a small sign. She stayed silent. Her answers were short. The old pressure seemed thin now, and his offers sounded like echoes of something that had lost weight. The days after the feast, Lena began to close the space again between her thoughts and her own heart. She started doing small things on her own, like walking farther from home, visiting the edge of the woods, and sitting alone by the stream. She did not talk about Elliot. She did not talk about marriage. She just kept her hands busy, cleaning, repairing, and helping her younger brother with his lessons. She wanted quiet. The village could see she was different. The whispering slowed, not because the story ended, but because people saw her carry her own weight now. She did not need others to speak for her. One day, Lena's mother came to her quietly while she was mending a torn basket. "Your father speaks less," she said softly. "He thinks about what happened. He says you look different, like you carry a new quiet." Lena did not look up. "I am thinking," she said. "Everything is loud, and yet the thing I need to hear is quiet. I do not want to move because others expect it. I want to move because I choose." Her mother rested her hand on Lena's shoulder for a moment, then pulled away. "I do not know if the world will let you keep that quiet," she said, "but I see you trying." The talk about Aaron grew kinder. Children ran past him and waved, without fear. Older women nodded to him when he passed, Some of the men who once believed Lena's refusal was shame now said it was strength. Aaron felt the shift, but he did not speak about it. He still kept the same face when he saw Lena, the same quiet respect in his eyes. He started bringing small things to her house, help with the well, a new wooden board for the broken bench, a piece of cloth for her brother's coat. He did not ask for thanks. He only left the items with a small bow of his head. Lena saw. She was watching the gentle way he kept distance. She wondered if he knew how much his quiet acts moved her. She began to look for him at the edge of the day, hoping to catch a moment where they could simply sit without words. She wanted to know if he still waited for a choice, or if he had already given up and let the past stay a label. Elliot grew sharper. He felt the slow loss of control. He started visiting Lena's father in the early morning, bringing news from the town and making sure others heard how he was helping. He talked more about tradition and how a stable life made a person strong. One afternoon, he said to Lena's father, "She is walking alone now. That is not a bad thing. But a woman without direction becomes a burden to those who love her. If she does not decide, others will decide for her. You need to act before regret grows." Lena's father looked at him, but this time he did not answer fast. He watched his daughter from a small window. He saw her walking toward the stream, her hair loose, her arms carrying small bundles of herbs. He thought about what Aaron did. He thought about how his own voice had pressed too hard, how the bandit night had shown him that his daughter's strength could not be shaped with words alone. He stayed quiet, and Elliot left, the thin smile on his face turning cold. Lena noticed Elliot's talk with her father. She felt the old pull, but it had less power. She kept her steps slow when she passed him in the market. She did not meet his eyes. She began to speak more with the older women in the village, asking about seeds, about the best time for planting new trees, and how to make a small garden grow faster. She did not ask for their opinions about her life. She only listened when they offered small stories about how their own daughters once had to decide for themselves. The change in Lena's heart grew in small steps. She remembered the night of danger, the weight of the blade at her throat, and the way Aaron had lowered it with care. She remembered the look in his eyes when he said he would not push. She began to understand that strength could be quiet, and that courage was not always loud. She had spent years thinking that choosing meant making noise, making a show, and pushing others back. Now she saw that choosing could mean sitting alone, thinking, and then walking forward without a sound because the decision was hers. One afternoon, Aaron found Lena sitting on the low hill outside the village. The sky was pale, and a soft wind moved the grass. He sat beside her, leaving a small distance. They both watched the field where children ran, their laughter like small birds. Aaron did not speak first. After a long moment, Lena said, "People talk softly now. They do not shout like before. I still hear Elliot, but his words break soon." "He is trying," Aaron said. "He will not stop easily, but you are not the same. You hold a quiet that he cannot take." Lena turned slightly. "You did not have to do anything more after that night. You could have left it. Instead, you kept coming quietly. That is why I remember you. That is why I am not afraid when I think of the choice. I will wait as long as you need," Aaron said. "I do not want you to feel forced by what is left. I want you to choose because the thing inside you says yes, not because voices grow quiet or loud." She looked at him, then at the field. "I am learning what I want," she said. "I am tired of being pushed from both sides. Your quiet helped me feel my own voice. I do not know what comes next. I only know I do not want to go back." They sat longer. The sun moved and the air cooled. Neither spoke about marriage or Elliot or the father's talk. The silence held their own weight, like a promise that the future could be shaped differently. The village went on around them, but in that small space, Lena felt the change inside. Aaron felt hope, not loud, but steady. The next days came with new light. Lena started to help her father more openly. and he began to ask her ideas about small things in the house. Elliot's talk lessened in strength when others saw Lena's quiet steps. She still had the hard choice ahead. The pressure had not gone completely, but now it moved slower, and she felt the room inside her heart grow larger. The Blade Night was no longer only a memory of fear. It was the moment when she first saw who would stand for her without taking control. That view stayed with her as the path turned, slowly, toward something she could finally call her own. The sun rose soft and gold on the morning Lena finally made her choice. The air smelled like wet earth and new grass. She woke before the rest of the house. She dressed simply, her hair pulled back, and walked to the small hill where she often sat alone. She held her thoughts like a small stone in her hand, heavy with meaning. Aaron was already there. He had come early, carrying a small basket of plain bread and fruit. He sat a short distance away, watching the village wake. When Lena came, he stood but did not step close. He kept his face calm, the same quiet respect she had come to know. "I have thought," Lena said. "I have listened to the noise. I have also listened to the quiet inside. I do not want to live a life given to me by fear or by money or by the shape others draw. I want a life with someone who stands, not to push me, but to protect the space where I can be myself." Aaron nodded slowly. "That is what I offered," he said. "I do not want your answer because the village speaks. I want it because you feel it inside. If you choose, I will walk with you. If you do not, I will keep my place. No one can take your choice back." Lena looked down, then up at him. "I choose," she said. Her voice was steady. "Not because I was afraid, not because I was told, because I saw what it means when someone puts himself between danger and you, and then lowers the blade gently. You gave me space to think. Now I give you the space to walk with me." They went together to Lena's home. The path felt different to her. The weight inside was still there, but it was softer, like a knot loosening. Her father sat outside fixing a small gate. He saw them come and stopped. Lena stood before him. She did not bow deeply. She stood tall. "I choose my life," she said. "I choose Aaron. I want him beside me, not because of old rule, but because I choose him." Her father did not speak for a moment. His face moved, the lines of past pressure and confusion softening. He looked at Aaron. Aaron stood with his hands loose, not asking, not expecting. Lena's father sighed, a long breath that carried both regret and relief. "You were too loud before," he said to Lena. "I thought I knew. I did not see." He turned to Aaron. "You stood when the night came. You did not take. You gave space. That is what I want for her. If she chooses you, then I will not take that away." Her mother came out, her face pale with worry turned to something like hope. She held Lena's hand for a second and let go. "I was afraid," she said. "I thought the world would break her if she did not follow the path. Now I see she is not broken. She is choosing. I will help." They went to tell the rest of the family. Word moved fast. The small group at Lena's house grew. Aaron's mother came with a cloth of sweets. Aaron's father nodded at Lena's father like old men who finally understand each other. Some of the older women whispered, but their whispers were softer and filled with new respect. Elliot's name was not spoken. When the news reached Elliot, he came quickly. He stood at the edge of the yard, watching. Lena saw him. She did not turn away. She went to him slowly. "I choose my own life," she said. "I am not yours to guide. I will not accept the future you set like a net. Leave. Your gifts are not part of what I want." Elliot smiled first, the kind of smile that had once moved others. Now it looked thin. "You will regret this," he said. You will learn that the world is harder when you break the line. You will be alone when the quiet turns to noise. Lena's voice rose a little. I will not be alone. I will have the people I choose. Go. Do not make the village carry your talk any further. I asked for space. Now give me the same. Elliot stepped back. He stared at Aaron, who did not move. Then he turned and left. He stopped at the path, looked once at Lena, and walked away. The old man who had once listened to him saw him leave. The village felt the shift, like a wind changing direction. The next days were full of quiet work and small celebrations. Lena's father went to the neighboring families and told them the truth. He said that Lena had chosen, not bound by debt or fear, and that Aaron had earned respect not by the strength of money, but by his steady actions. Some people asked questions. Others nodded and quietly stepped in to help with the small preparations. Lena and Aaron walked together to the river. They sat on the flat stone where they had once shared short words. Lena took a small piece of cloth from her bag. She gave it to Aaron. It was simple, sewn with her own hands. I made this, she said. I wanted you to have something that came from me, something that shows I choose. Aaron touched the cloth lightly. I will keep it, he said. I do not need more. Your choice is enough. The day of the small gathering came. They did not call it a big wedding. The village had no grand halls. The people met under the same oak tree where Lena and Aaron had once talked. It was not perfect. The cloth over the table had a small tear mended with care. The food was simple, made by hands that knew hard work. Lena's younger brother stood near her, eyes wide but proud. Aaron's mother placed a small loaf in front of them. Lena's father spoke quietly. He did not use big words. She chose, he said. She chose her life, and the man who respected it. We will walk with them. The others nodded. Aaron's father added, we do not own them. We support them. That is the new way. They both spoke their promise. Lena said she would stand with him and that she would keep her own voice. Aaron promised to protect her space and listen when she was quiet. The villagers clapped softly. No loud cheer, but hands that meant it. In the days that followed, the story moved through the fields and into the next villages. People did not speak of a forced match. They spoke of a woman who chose and a man who kept his word. Lena and Aaron worked together. He helped with the bigger tasks, and she took care of small plans. They argued sometimes, but they talked and listened. The quiet between them had become trust. Elliot's name faded. He tried to return later with softer approaches, but the village would not open the door. Lena's choice and the way she stood with Aaron had made a new line. The old pressure could not find a place to hold. Elliot moved away, and his voice became a story of someone who tried to guide others and lost the chance because he did not see their will. Lena's family changed too. Her father learned to ask, not to command. Her mother began to tell other parents the story of how their daughter chose and how the world did not fall apart. The village began to feel different, small shifts that came from one choice. The old rules stayed, but the shape of them softened. People started to listen to daughters more, to hear before they stepped. One evening, Lena and Aaron stood on the hill where their story had begun. The sky had the long light of late day. They did not speak for a while. Then Lena said, I once thought choosing meant fighting the world loudly. Now I know it means holding the quiet and walking with someone who sees it. Aaron smiled. You held your choice. That gave me mine too. I did not push. I only waited. That is how I wanted it. They walked down together. The village glowed with small lights in windows. The path forward was not easy. There would be days when the wind would test them, when old voices would try to push, and when their own doubts would come. But now, they had the shape of something real. They had a promise built not on force, but on choice.